death, taxes, and running back injuries for the 49ers. So Elijah Mitchell's the latest victim. Next up on the depth chart is going to be Jeff Wilson Jr. However, I don't know if Jeff Wilson Jr. is the guy that I'm targeting. How are you looking at the running back situation right now for the 49ers, Drew?
I mean, for me, it's a little shaky. Like you said, I don't know if I'm full on Jeff Wilson either. It's just not a running back room that I'm looking at right now and I'm kind of loving. Obviously, you're the more of the 49ers expert. So I don't know how much you love it, but I certainly don't by the looks of it.
So what I would say is I think the Jeff Wilson Jr., if you were asking me who gets the higher percentage of snaps this week, it will be Jeff Wilson Jr. He will get the initial workload out the gate. You might see Debo still away 4 to 6 rushes this week. That would be my expectation. However, I think the back to own is the least targeted back in the Niners running back room right now, and that's going to be Jordan Mason, the undrafted rookie out of Georgia Tech. He had the most dynamic preseason out of this running back group. Ty Davis-Price out of LSU, a third-round running back, I think is going to get a little bit of carries, but I don't think that he's going to be able to take over what Jordan Mason is. Jordan Mason was the reason the Niners cut Trey Sermon in the offseason. They felt comfortable doing that. Jordan Mason is the reason that the Niners were willing to let JaMychal Hasty walk to the Miami Dolphins. I think that tells you that the Kyle Shanahan and the staff have a lot of faith in Mason's ability to be a breakout in this backfield. And in the preseason, averaging over 5 yards a carry, it's hard to dispute the talent was there. Well, if you're able to do a very simple thing for Kyle Shanahan, hit the hole whenever the hole's there in this zone blocking scheme, then you're going to have a role in this offense. We've seen it with guys like Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert, and others. That's what they ask you to do. You can't dance around in this backfield, and I think that's why Trey Sermon was a guy that didn't last long. Ty Davis-Price, the reason he wasn't active last week, the reason he was in street clothes was because he's not really much of a contributor on special teams. Jordan Mason is, and I think that that's an opportunity for him to see a lot of work in the coming future. I think that the best play is to go with the more explosive back, and unfortunately, I don't think Jeff Wilson Jr. is more explosive. I think if you're looking for capitalizing on upside or looking for a rightful replacement to Elijah Mitchell, I think you have to go with the undrafted rookie out of Georgia Tech.
So you're looking more towards Jordan Mason over Ty Davis-Price and potentially over Jeff Wilson.
I think so. I think that the opportunity is going to be there at some point for Mason. I'm not going to say, again, week 2 that he's going to be a week 2 breakout, but if he's still available on waivers, I think you have to scoop him up now, because I think that your opportunity to buy him or get in on the Jordan Mason business is going to be very limited. I think that Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to show his limitations very early on. I think he'll still have some work in the receiving game because Kyle Shanahan has used him in that capacity before, has used him on the goal line. But I think between the 20s, that's where Mason's going to have a lot of opportunity to work. The Niners also added Marlon Mack off the streets this week. So Marlon Mack is in their backfield, but even though he's a former 1,000-yard rusher, he's strictly a depth chart play for me. I don't think that the Niners seriously plan on using Marlon Mack as a part of the offense. So that's kind of how I'm breaking down the Niners running back room moving forward. I think that that's kind of how you have to approach it as a fantasy owner as well. Week 2, with the rain conditions that are expected against the Seahawks, I would say that Jeff Wilson is an absolute start because the Niners are going to have to rely on their running game to get them through that one. I think that they made a mistake in Chicago when they threw 28 times. I think they're going to try and correct that, and it's going to be more of a 30 to 40 carry split for the Niners backfield as a whole. Anyway, that's my thoughts. That's how I'm breaking down the Niners running back room. Hopefully you didn't lose Elijah Mitchell for 2 weeks. If you did, well, these are the options. These are the guys internally on the Niners roster I would consider and talk about. There may be some other replacements. Hey, let's talk about your waiver wire below in the comments section. We like to interact with y'all. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, and stay safe, happy, and healthy. Ju-Ju Talk Sports and Andrew Hagenbaugh. We'll see you next time.